we've got to start with the crowd. What was it like having the fans back at the Wham for a league match?
Brilliant, just a pity we couldn't score in that end. We had enough chances too. But listen, as I've said all along, it's like sucking a sweet with the paper on, playing football without fans. Honestly, it is. That's how stark the difference is. And I'm pleased that the home fans got treated to a battling display, good game of football in the end. We'd like to be better in the second half, or certainly the last half hour than what we were. I don't think we were although we didn't play great in the second half, we were only panicking in the last 10 minutes when they'd scored. And as much as James has been devastated letting it go through his legs, he's made a couple of great saves and showed a lot of character for a young boy. So all credit to him for that. But we've had quite a bit of sickness in the camp this week. Not COVID, but just like an illness spread around. 5 or 6 of them have been struck down with it, and vomiting and coughing and not sleeping. And that's took its toll on us, and I thought we looked shattered today, some of our players. So it's credit to them that the battle through and got the 3 points.
I mean, Matt Butcher's goal was a good goal. Sean McConville set him up.
Fantastic goal, and we know Matt's got that in his locker, but Matt was another one who's been under the weather, and we were struggling to breathe in the second half. So to get as long as he got out of it, I've got to take my hat off to them. They dug into every reserve that they had to get the win, and you can only praise them for that.
And Harry Pell to get his first goal for you, and he's had a bad week with his grandfather dying.
Yeah, I think that was, I think he'll dedicate that to him. And you can see that by his celebration after the goal. And we know that we're getting with Harry with that. He can be a threat with that. He still needs to get a bit fitter, needs to get a little bit sharper, and he can have an impact in this league.
How big a relief was it when the final whistle well? Because I know it's like taking off a pair of shoes that were too tight is one of your favourites.
It is. These shoes aren't that tight, actually. They're a 10 instead of a 9.5. But it's just to get the 3 points on the board. You don't want to be scrapping come the end of August, not having any points on the board, and looking around you thinking, oh, where's the next win going to come from? So, we've got to build on that. We've got to bolster the squad, and we're still not strong enough. With a couple of injuries, leaves us very light. A lot of youngsters on the bench, and we've got to address them.
And James Trafford, you said he was devastated by letting the goal in, but he can pick himself up, can't he?
Well, listen, he didn't have much to do in the game till the last half an hour. He's roughed his lines for one, he's made 3 great saves, so I think he's a little bit in credit at the moment.
And people like Tommy Lee got their league debut, which is good.
Yeah, unbelievable cross for Colby's miss. Great bit of skill. And he's just got to get used to the pace of League One football. He oversold himself about 4 or 5 times late on, and the players run past him. And I think as he gets more exposure to this type of football, he realise that you can't sell yourself. You've got to be mindful of holding your position, and that only comes with experience of playing games.
And I guess lastly, we've got to ask about Cameron Burgess and the situation with him at the moment.
Looks as though he's going to Ipswich. I think both the clubs agreed a fee last night. Me and Ulti are generally on the same page a lot of the time. This one wasn't my decision. My decision, I would have held out for more money, but and I certainly didn't want to lose him because I think he's worth more than that. But we have got a decent fee for him, and the chairman can go to carry on trying to make this club a better place to come to, which at the end of the day is what everyone wants, and you can't argue that he hasn't spent his money wisely. In fact, he might feel that he's overspent his money wisely. Well, he's overspent, and it's nice for him to get a few bob back. And Cam to earn a lot more money. Ipswich can pay a lot more money than us. Undoubtedly a bigger club than us. Whether they're a better club, that remains to be seen. But you can't deny Cam the opportunity to earn 3 or 4 times his wages here, and he leaves with all our best wishes. He's a great lad, and we went through the pain barrier on Tuesday to play a game for us. He was prepared to do exactly the same today. So I think that tells you everything you need to know about the lads, and Ipswich is getting a good play. And
I guess your pressure is now keeping hold of the rest of your squad, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But it's not as if this is new to me. As Dan often says, it's not my first rodeo. So listen, whatever happens, happens. I've got a set of lads in there who give their all for the club, and that's all I can ask for.